Well, snow is finishing up across the area, and now we deal with some real Arctic air coming in. And just as I expected, the snow totals not too far off from what I predicted. Not a huge snowfall, still light snowfall, but very wet snowfall. It's a drizzly day as well, mixed in with the snow. And we're going to first go over what I have for you on the snowfall totals map. This is what we have, and we're not really seeing a whole lot of reports right now. So on this map, let's see, we zoom in. We got 2.4 inches in Smithtown. That's where I thought there would be more snow, but only 0.9 inches in Belrose. So you're probably around an inch on the ground here. 1.1 inches in Jamesport. That was at 9:07. Maybe they get a little more. Upton was 0.7 inches. That was at 7 p.m. Maybe they got a little more than that. But other than that, it seemed that the higher amounts, believe it or not, were in central Jersey. We see Staten Island, 3.3 inches. 1.6 in New York City. And Central Jersey, Middlesex County, place like Freehold, 3.2. But only 0.8 in Barnegat Township. So I have a feeling Tom's River only got about an inch out of this. And then a little more as you head toward Philadelphia as well, 2 to 3 inches. So not a big snowfall, but it was mixed with rain, and it's going to turn icy as the temperatures drop tonight. Looking at our satellite imagery, you can see the clouds starting to slowly move on out of here. And the storm here, not a very strong storm. But a large and area storm, so that's what we got brushed by it. And here comes the Arctic air that's going to be coming in as we deal with what's going to be happening this week. So let's first go over our high and low for the day. They also have a list of snowfall reports here as well, but we kind of went over the map already. We'll see if there are any new ones here. Not really. So let's go to our statistics for the day. High at 34, low at 26, or 1 degree below normal, and 0.21 inches of liquid today recorded at iSlip. This was at 4 p.m., so probably a little bit more has fallen than that right now. But let's talk about our weather going forward, because things are going to be turning a lot colder. So we're going to go to the upper air here. And this is what's going to be happening. So you can see we have a block in Greenland. This is the GFS, and pretty much agreement on this. You can see trough over the east. That block gets stronger as we head toward the end of the month, which means even colder outbreaks. And then maybe we see a little bit of a reprieve as we get toward February. This is the GFS. Here's the European. We'll go to the 12Z European because that goes further out. Again, you see that really cold air there coming in, especially toward the end of the month there. Big trough. But the European also lifts it out a little more as we get toward February. But there's still a block there. So as long as we have that block, I don't really think we're going to see any huge warm-ups in our future. So go to the regional view, and we'll go to our temperature anomaly chart, and you'll see the kind of cold air we're going to be dealing with this week. So let's go over here. So today, temperature slightly above normal. Tomorrow, we're going to go below normal. Tuesday is going to be frigid. That's a really good shot of Arctic air. That's going to start moving out by Wednesday. And then an even colder shot comes in by next weekend. This one's going to really be testing the records here. And then we get another one for next week. So we're going to be in the deep freeze, it looks like, for a while, right through the end of this month. And then maybe a little bit of moderation as we get toward February. Looking at the GFS, we'll stick with the 18Z GFS. Similar deal. You can see that is going to be one hell of a plunge for the weekend. The GFS backs off after that, though. So the European's a little colder, and I tend to agree with the European on this. Let's look at the surface now. So we're done with the storm, and we'll be dry and cold, very cold, and you'll see that northwest wind there, gradient there coming through, and then we have a storm. Luckily, no storm for Thursday on the GFS here. Another high comes in, and this outbreak is so strong that it suppresses all that front well to the south. So our next threat for precipitation probably won't come until the end of the month, according to the GFS. And now we look at the If we look at the European, let's see what the European looks like. That's as far as. So here's the European. So luckily, no threats for precipitation other than maybe a flurry or two. And then this storm comes a little closer on the European, but still misses us. But you can see suppressed. That's how strong this cold air outbreak is going to be as we get toward the end of the month. And it's going to be the coldest air I think we've seen since 2017. So that's how cold it's going to get. So let's go to the short range here. And we'll go to the HRRR. And obviously you see here, there's our storm moving away. And this is right through Wednesday. We're dry. It's just going to be cold. So our dew points in wind flow. Here comes the northwest winds. West winds tomorrow. They go a little more west-southwest. Dew points don't drop too much tomorrow. The real Arctic air comes in on Tuesday, and that's when we see those dew points drop to 0 and below 0 with a west-northwest wind. And that is going to be some absolutely frigid air that we're going to get into. Now tomorrow, we're still going to struggle to make it to freezing. I think we'll get to freezing, but struggle there. And then tomorrow night, the temperatures really drop quick into the teens. And then for Tuesday, we're going to struggle to get to the low to mid-20s, I think. It's going to be quite chilly. It's all about the temperatures in this forecast. Now going to the European here. Take you a little further along. So here we are on Wednesday. You see the wind shift to the southwest. That'll bring a little bit of more milder air. We get a little break Thursday, and then here we go Friday again. Here's that bitter cold air that comes in for the weekend, and this is going to be very cold air. Dew points below 0, and the temperatures will only be in the teens. Here we are Sunday, a little bit of a break, and then here we go again Tuesday. And again, look at that. That's really cold, dry air that we're in. Look at our temperatures. So again, we see that moderation Wednesday. A little bit, still strong. Maybe Jersey. We get above freezing on Thursday, I think, for a little bit there. That's our warmest day probably. Hopefully, we'll get rid of that inch of snow that we got by then. And then Thursday, and then Friday, here comes the cold. Here comes the cold for the weekend. How about going down to 0 Saturday morning, and then only making it to the teens, and maybe struggling to the teens on Long Island on Saturday, and then Sunday, still only in the teens. So expect a hard freeze of the bays and stuff like that with this kind of cold. And then temperatures recover to the 20s. But then here comes another shot for next Tuesday. Teens. So, yeah, it's going to be some really, really cold air that we're going to be dealing with. This is going to be the deep freeze that we're going to be entering, especially after the end of this week, I think. So that's what we're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and look at skies. I'll first start with the GFS, I guess. Let's go to skies here. So here we are for tomorrow, and you'll see here that clouds break for some sun. And then we have more clouds toward the evening. And then Tuesday should be mostly sunny, but we'll have to watch and see if there's any stratocumulus development. We'll still have to watch for lake effect. I think after this outbreak, I think those lakes should be frozen. And then Wednesday we'll still have sunny with more increasing clouds. Thursday, it looks like maybe mostly sunny skies. And then Friday we'll have more clouds. And then Saturday, this is the question, is once that front clears, that is when Sunday is going to be a pretty damn cold but sunny day according to this. Of course, I don't do cloud forecasts more than like 5 or 6 days out. This is as far out as I'm willing to go. I usually don't like going that far out because the accuracy is going to change quite a bit. Let's look at the 0Z RGM. This will give us a little bit of a better preview of what's going on. So tomorrow we have the sunshine. It should be mostly sunny day. There may be some clouds toward the afternoon and in the evening. And then for Tuesday, according to the RGM, we should be mostly sunny. And then for Wednesday, you'll start seeing some more clouds come in. And then Thursday, showing sunshine. So it'll be cold, but at least we're going to get plenty of sunshine. And it will be drier after this snowfall that we had. Let me go back to the HRRR. We'll just look at some soundings before we go to the long range. So we'll look at some soundings for tomorrow. We'll do 17Z. Yeah, those look pretty quick, pretty far apart. I think that's pretty good. Tuesday's the day that might be a little tricky with cloud cover. Because Long Island, it's showing, no, actually has them pretty far apart. So we should have plenty of sunshine. So even though it's going to be cold, so it's good weather to get outside. I'll just have to bundle up. That's all. So lastly, Climate Prediction Center. No surprise here. 6 to 10 day outlook, below normal. Excellent chances of below normal temperatures, 6 to 10 day outlook. But above normal precipitation, oddly enough. Probably, I don't know what it's counting exactly. They seem to think that there's going to be precipitation. I'm hoping not. I don't want any more snow. But we'll have to see what happens with that in the 6 to 10 day. Because I haven't seen any storms in the models that would indicate that. And then for the 8 to 14 day, we go to below normal precipitation for much of the east, and excellent below normal temperatures. So we are going to be entering the deep freeze. I guess that is the best way to put it. After a number of years without a deep freeze, which we normally have every winter, we're finally going to have one this year. And so for those of you who like the deep freeze, like I do, get out there and enjoy it. Hopefully it comes with some sunshine, because the Pine Barrens are at their best when it's cold and you have that cold, sunny day. The only thing that we will be dealing with is with the wind a little bit, so I'm just going to go back to Vent 2 Sky for a little bit, just discuss the wind issues for tomorrow, because there will be a wind chill, which is going to make it feel colder. So these are the wind gusts for tomorrow. No need for a wind advisory, but if gusts 25 to 30, it's going to feel colder. Even though the temperatures might get close to freezing, it's going to feel like you're only probably in the 20s and maybe even teens. And then for Tuesday, we're still going to have those winds, and those temperatures in the upper teens to low 20s are going to feel like single digits or colder. So get ready for the deep freeze. That is my message to everybody out there. We haven't had it in a while, but it's long overdue. And this is good news for the Pine Barrens as well, because this will control the southern pine beetles. When you have a deep freeze like this, it kills their eggs and really puts the brakes on them for a couple of years. And hopefully by then we'll have to finally do a better job managing the Pine Barrens and getting this under control on Long Island. Of course, Jersey's had it under control for years. But anyway, thank you for watching. Good night and stay warm.